Hey everybody, I'm Angie Goff, and this is the Oh My Goff Show. For nearly 2 decades, I've covered big stories and big names, whether it was reporting from the royal wedding, the Super Bowl, or sitting down with the First Lady. There's one thing I know for sure. Behind every headline is a human story, one filled with ups, downs, laughter, and life lessons. Each episode, we'll tap into some pretty incredible minds, people who've found true success in chasing their dream or changing the world. It's the story behind the story that I hope will inspire your own. This is the Oh My Goff Show with Angie Goff. Hey everybody, so good to see you. Wow, what a week it has been. I think it's the first full week since the CDC released their new guidelines regarding masks, saying if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear one outside, or if you are inside, you don't have to as well. We all know that there's still a lot of questions, obviously. A lot of confusion still out there because jurisdictions in different counties, depending on where you live, and even different businesses can decide whether or not they want to enforce their mask mandate inside, indoors at least. So it's going to be a lot for us to figure out, but it was really nice that we got to see a lot of faces, a lot more smiles than we're used to for the first time in a year. We've got to keep the good vibes going, and boy, I am beyond excited to introduce my guest for this week. If you have not seen Bling Empire on Netflix, finish this podcast first, whether you're listening to it or you're watching it, then go watch it. Go watch it and binge watch it. It's a great series, so great that we've learned they have greenlit a season 2. Very well deserved. Can't wait for that. If you have watched it, then you know about the breakout star, Kane Lim. Gosh, I love this guy. He's awesome. Okay. So if you don't really know much about this show, it's easy to kind of just assume that it's Crazy Rich Asians put into series. But as you watch it, you'll realize that there's a lot of depth to these characters. And what drew me to Kane Lim is just how deep his spirituality was. Like, he has everything you can imagine. Anything you can imagine. And yet he is so grounded. And you see how that plays out, not only making him a good person, but a good friend and a compassionate character and someone that you would want to be friends with and want to hang out with and not be intimidated by everything that they have, as you will see, because it's dynamic with his friend Kevin, who comes from zero money.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this is real.
Like, I'm Kevin, okay? I mean, most of us are Kevin. Talking about Kelly and Andrew and the beef between Christina and Anna. Anna, does she really talk like this? Also talk about what our community has been dealing with over this last year with the rise of violence and vitriol and attacks and anti-Asian hate towards the AAPI community. And Kane opened up about his own personal experience. And shoes. This guy, the king of the kicks, okay? Kane Lim. He shows us all of his shoes, and then I kind of get crap a lot from my friends because I wear some pretty weird stuff. So, but I needed to see if he could sign off on some of it. Let's just get to it. I hope you enjoy it. Here's our conversation with the fabulous Kane Lim. Kane?
Hi, Angie. Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me?
You look so good. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, because I wanted to start off just by saying congratulations, season 2. Yay!
Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
My next question was, are you guys still casting? Because, you know.
Please join us. Please join the casting. You didn't tell me the outfit. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah. The outfit is, well, this is actually my only Chanel necklace that I have. And I'm more in the Kevin category, to be quite candid. And the wrapping from my one Chanel necklace.
You look amazing. You look more bling out than I am right now.
Well,
I love the shades. Are they Gucci?
What?
Are the shades Gucci?
Oh no, these are my WAP glasses.
I love them.
Weekly Amazon purchase.
No, that's on Amazon?
Oh yeah. Well, for those of you who are joining us, this is Kane Lim. He is the breakout star from Bling Empire, one of my favorite shows. I watched it from front to finish, told everybody about it. Such a fan, and he's a big fan of shoes. If you watch the show, you know that, and we'll get to see them a little bit later. But for those of you who have not seen the show, you got to put it on your list. And I'm not just saying this because I'm Asian.
Just go shopping. That's the best therapy.
And it's so great to see finally some representation on the television for us and for our people and for our communities. But I wanted to begin with just, what you've been up to since you guys stopped filming. I know that you've been busy. You just seem like a go-getter.
Oh my God, just the press and everything has been insane. It's been an overwhelming journey. I think none of us expected this to be I knew that we had a good show, but we filmed it and I knew that we had such good content and the stories and, just all of us laying our souls out there and our hearts. And when the show aired, we didn't expect such a big response from the press, from reporters. Obviously, when the trailer came out, everyone's like, oh my God, this is another stereotypical Crazy Rich Asians kind of show. And when they actually got into it and episode 2, it's like, wow, it smacks you in the face and you're in tears, you're crying, you're laughing. So I think we brought a lot of that to the table, and just it's been an overwhelming 2 months. Just crazy. We didn't expect the amount of press. Yeah.
So for those who haven't had a chance to see Bling Empire, what is this show about if you had to sum it all up?
It's a bunch of wealthy Asian Americans and Asians living in LA, trying to break our stereotypes and trying to build an empire for ourselves. Because most of us come from really successful backgrounds, except Kevin. It's all, I've been always, my story personally, my family's from in Singapore, and Asian parents always want their kids back home in Singapore, right? Where they're at. And my role in the show is just to show the struggle of being alone in Los Angeles, and trying to just navigate my way through society here, and at the same time trying to build something on my own and not depending on my parents. So that's my role in the show. And obviously, if you watch the show, we have such a diverse cast from age 21 to 60, which I think is incredible.
Yeah, no, it really is. And it made me wonder, because you guys have such a good chemistry. Were you all friends before the show started filming?
I've known most of them. Kelly was the one who had this idea years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And I've known most of them for many, many years. Only Kevin and Anna I wasn't that close with.
But her father sells bombs, guns.
I think it's very important to have fun.
Anna, she is so awesome. I love her.
Amazing.
Does she really talk like this?
She does.
She does. She's like, oh.
No, seriously, even with a mic, thank God you have a mic, or else you won't be able to hear her. Thank God there's a mic clipped in. If not, you won't be able to hear her. Even I've been hanging out with Anna throughout the pandemic, and she's the same as you see in person, and she's one of the most generous people I know, and just one of the best people I've known as well. Yeah,
she seems really real, really okay with herself, and okay with what she likes and what she doesn't. And she also seems like she has what I like to call a good antenna. She can tell.
Exactly. She knows immediately. It comes from experience as well. And, I think she's exactly the same as in person. She's just funny and just unapologetic. I think that would sum her up.
Kelly withdrew. It's like putting a chain and throwing you in the ocean. You just sink.
Yes or no?
Don't play into this game. There ain't no dick that good.
Yeah, I've seen most of the cast as well. Yes.
Yeah, you guys been partying, having fun?
We've been okay. We've been safe. We've been we went on a yacht. We went for dinners, and it's just a very safe environment. And we have a group chat, and we'll COVID test, and we'll send a picture, and we'll and before we meet. So it's a very safe way of having fun. Yes.
Yeah. Who's in the group chat? Everybody?
Everyone. Yes.
Even Andrew? Even Andrew?
No. Oops.
Saw that Kelly put something out there about them breaking up. Is this for real this time, you think?
I told Kelly, whatever makes you happy, because I've known her for I think the longest time, and it's always been breakups and then back together again. And for me, I can't judge anymore. My practice, I'm Buddhist, and like, it's a
Mhm.
karmic thing that she has to burn through or go through. And when that happened, when she announced it publicly, I met her that night for dinner, and I was like, let's go out. I'm sure you need someone to talk to. And I told her, whatever makes you happy at the moment, just do it. Because
Mm,
if they end up back together, who am I to judge? I don't know what
right.
goes on behind closed doors. So no judgment there, but like, I'm sure Andrew could use some improvement in terms of like talking to Kelly and just treating Kelly. Yeah.
Well, in a series that's really full of so much luxury, high fashion, big drama, I mean, you encompass some of that, but what I was really drawn to is that, and particularly it was the storyline where you were helping Cherie after she had lost her mom. I feel like I really saw such a big heart and just a kind person who, and a humble person and someone who had real soul. And it was very refreshing because in a show that's about having lots of money, to see that was really great. And so wanted to find out from you where that comes from, that spirituality.
I think I was. Oh, that's a really long story to talk about my spirituality, but basically, a few years ago, I had everything I wanted. I had like but I was overweight. I wasn't happy. There wasn't inner wealth, and that was something I was looking for and searching for. And I encountered Buddhism through a friend of mine, and she lives the most simple life, but she was the happiest person I've seen. And I was like, I need that. And like when I started practicing, getting into like just studying the sutras, that's our Bible in Buddhism, just studying it. And like, I was like, oh my God, it's all karma, it's all cause and condition. It's all about compassion as well. I think Buddhism is one of the most all encompassing religion or just a philosophy. You don't have to call yourself Buddhist. You just have to live it, and just be
Hmm.
compassionate to one another, to all religions as well. So back to, finding inner wealth, that, being in LA, with all these material things, all the alcohol, drugs, the partying, I think that really grounded me, and I found my true self when I started practicing Buddhism, and that completely changed me. I'm wearing small, medium, I'm no more extra large. I'm happy,
Hmm.
I'm healthy, I'm happy, I think truly happy inside, and although single, but happy, super happy.
Yeah, single. I mean, how can we help you there? What kind of person are you looking for?
No, I'm good right now. I'm so good because I've been so busy, working with brands, and like, I can't disclose one of them right now, but I'm so fucking excited for, sorry for swearing,
No,
but
that's
uh
okay.
she's amazing.
But the thing is, you got an Asian mama, and if she's anything like mine, they want you married, they want you, having a family. There's just a protocol that we're supposed to follow, so to speak. Do you get any type of pressure from your family other than them wanting you just to come back to Singapore?
Well, that's why I'm here to break all stereotypes. I want to break this for people. You don't have to be married to be happy. You don't have to be married to be successful. So I kind of want to show that in season 2 as well, that you can be alone and be happy,
Hmm.
and obviously there's family pressure and stuff, but I think ultimately our parents I had a call with my mom. She's like, I just want you to be happy. We don't need you to be rich or successful. She's like, you don't have to work that hard. You just have to be happy and healthy. That's all we ask as parents. So I'm
Hmm.
really proud of my parents for allowing me to grow this way and to be like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really awesome. When we talk about season 2, any indication of other storylines that we might see? For instance, I mean, I want to know Anna and
I
Christine.
wonder why she sat us on like opposite ends.
I don't know.
The way I look at it, if Christine wants to play games, then bring it on.
Is that beef for real?
I think there's always a Christine comes from a very, number one, she's a really smart woman. She's
Hmm.
valedictorian of her school. She is so smart and like very eloquent. I always tell her like, Christine, I love how you speak. It's so eloquent. And with me, I'm just rambling around, but she's so eloquent, and I always admire her for that. And I think there's this competitiveness in her, and obviously we're playing it up on the screen. But I back to the rivalry, you have to ask them. So
But there is something there. I mean, you it's not just for the screen. You would say that they I mean, they probably don't talk to each other, or I mean, do they? Do you think that they do talk to each other, or?
no, not as much though. For what I know, not as much. But what happened on the show was were organic. Like none of the producers were like, oh, go move her seat or like do this, do that. Everything was kind of organic. Yeah, I know it's surprising.
Wow.
And most people are like, this is all real, even the penis pump. Do you think Anna Shea wants something like that on national TV or global TV? No.
She has a penis pump. Why does she have a penis pump in her shower?
Have we found
That
out
just happened.
who that belonged to yet?
No.
Like Florence?
Heaven.
I think that was Florent's penis pump, and maybe he left there by accident.
Probably Florence.
Well, not mine, I'm telling you. That's all what I'll say.
You don't know anything. They haven't told you anything about season 2 that you can share yet.
We're all really excited. But at the same time, we kind of want to have like a discussion with the producers as well, like what's gonna happen, because you have to remember these are our lives, our private lives that we're sharing with the world, and it's our security as well, and we have to be very careful what we put out there, and also put ourselves first sometimes, because it's not easy. This year has been completely, as you know, I don't come from an entertainment background. I come from an investment background, so I have to be very careful of like my business stuff as well. So, but it's really exciting what happened. I'm so proud of the show, and I think going forward, super excited to film more, obviously, but we definitely need to talk more about what we're going to show in our lives. Yeah.
Considering everything that has happened this year, I would love to get your thoughts on what we've seen in real life, which is this uptick of hate crimes against Asian Americans through this pandemic.
With the Asian woman
Those lines of communications have been lost. That's why it's so important for this.
Coming from Singapore, we grew up with all races and we embraced all religions, ethnicities, cultures, all kinds of food. Just going up there, I've never seen this level of racism. So just moving to LA, I was a victim of it as well. Like actually last year when the pandemic just happened in March, I was walking on a street, on a really nice street on Melrose Place, where like Balmain and like the big stores are there, and someone threw a cup in my head, and it was filled with like cigarette water. It wasn't like disgusting water, and like I just stood there, and like the onlookers were like, there were two white ladies, and they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened. And it was just really sad. I wasn't angry at the time. I was just really sad for them, and I'm like, why? I just didn't get it. And to see more of this happening right now, I think for me, I feel that there needs to be more improvement in terms of law and order. I think the police have to step up and show more restraint, and there more fines should be. In Singapore, when you do something wrong, they punish you. And I feel in LA, it's a very tricky line, because if the police punishes you, and you can sue the police. So there's a very tricky line that they need to find. Hopefully they can figure that out. But at the same time, I'm very sad that happens. And constantly through my Instagram, I try to highlight that a lot of Asian people are the pillars of society. For example, I did a surprise at Kaiser Permanente Hospital. We surprised 80 over healthcare workers, and most of them were Asians. So that's my way of showing how to stop racism, to educate people, to show them they are the pillars of society, instead of condemning them. Because a lot of people are like, stop Asian hate, they're blaming another race for it. But for me, I don't see it as a racial issue. I see it like as education, that the Asians are from America as well, not just white people, not just black people. We've been here you guys been here for years, and we are, as I said, the pillars and foundation of society. So I think it's through education and through giving back and raising awareness that people will be like, oh, you guys are like, saving our lives. You guys are like doctors. You guys are police as well. So I think that's very important to highlight. Yeah.
Yeah. And really for us as Asian Americans, not being afraid to use our voice. I think for so long, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but we just kind of, I don't want to say watered down or dumbed down our own challenges. And there's always that assumption, the model minority, that the Asians are successful, that the Asians are smart, that the Asians are this. And it's kind of like, I know in my case, in situations of racism that I've experienced, I never felt like it was bad enough, to talk about or to speak out against, when in all reality, it is bad. It is bad. And it's
It is bad.
happening, and it's happening to our people. And now it's just been magnified with the coronavirus or the China virus, being put
Yeah.
out there in the headlines. And, with your situation, I mean, did it register with you when it happened that maybe this was part of this narrative that was out there during this time, that this was an Asian disease that has taken over? I mean, did you make that connection, or was it?
100%, because
Yeah.
that was exactly the time where it was deemed the Chinese virus or the China virus. And, and all Asians were targeted from all ethnicities, Chinese, Vietnamese, we all lumped together as well.
Yeah.
So definitely, I thought the narrative could have been better. But obviously that's politics, and we don't want to
Yeah.
go into that. I'm so happy that that's all over.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, I think it's one thing to just use a hashtag, and it's another thing to use your voice for
Correct.
education and to open people's eyes to worlds that they wouldn't normally see or know. Unless you have an Asian friend, you don't know. Unless you live in a heavily Asian community, you don't know. And so I just love your take on that and what you're doing to give so many of us a voice. So thank you for that. And also just the role you're playing with Bling Empire and how important that is to you. I mean, what has it meant to you to be part of this all Asian cast that now has been a hit and is being renewed?
I'm just really grateful and humbled by this entire experience. Like, I've been people chasing me on the streets and just I don't know, just giving me the best shout outs on Instagram comments. I'm honestly just really humbled by this entire experience, and I'm just so thankful because as an Asian, I'm so proud of what we're achieving right now. And I don't know, just the response it's just so overwhelming. I think there's just one word that sums it up. I'm just really humbled by this. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, is there something about you that people assume that isn't true?
That I don't work. I think that's one of them. Because if you see on the show, it's like I do nothing, right? So most people, they're like, oh, it's all your parents' money. It's all this, it's all that. I'm like, no, I've started my first business when I was 17, 18. I just sold 2 houses 2 weeks ago, a month ago. So I don't think they see the entrepreneurial side of me that has always been a part of my life, and this is who I am, So I don't think they've seen that yet, and hopefully, obviously the season 1 is more of an introduction to, who you are, and I think hopefully season 2 we can kind of dive into like what I do. And actually, I work, I go for meetings, I go for Zoom calls, so I would love to highlight that. And most people don't think I work at all. So, yeah.
Okay. I love that. I love that. But you always are having a good time, and you're a great friend, So, I mean, when I watched the show, I was like, that's the dude I want to hang out with. Like, I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna slide into his DMs. You're also into zodiacs too, right? And I found out.
I love zodiacs.
I know, but I'm a sheep. So obviously we could never date, and I'm married anyways with 3 kids. I got a lot of baggage. You wouldn't want this, but yeah. So, but yeah.
Kevin might want it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, and he's Korean. I'm Korean too.
He loves married women.
Oh my gosh. Well, my husband watches this podcast, so tell him he better be careful.
Yes.
But we do. We love Kevin. Best advice, if you had to offer the best advice you ever got.
Everything you do, question your ask yourself about the intention behind it, whether it will benefit others and not just yourself, and also whether it's the righteous thing to do. I always, go to my Buddhist books and look at precepts and just making sure that whatever you're doing is right, but also being true to yourself and make sure you affect whatever you do does the right thing for that person and so for society. So yeah, that's my advice.
I love that. Yeah. Your biggest regret.
I think anal. Talking about anal. I think that was my, we had a phone call before the show aired, and I was like, first of all, I apologize to everyone, whatever I said, because you know why? You're filming all the time. You have no filter at the end of the day. You're sitting in interview rooms for hours, and you're just talking, right? And then sometimes you're like, oh, Kelly, she just needs anal or whatever, right? So Kelly was like, you said I love anal. I'm like, did I? And then when the show came out, I was like, shit.
Can't
So-
take it back now.
I can't take it back.
Yeah, that's
But
really
hopefully
funny.
she gets a lot of endorsements from that or something.
Right? It might work in her favor.
It might,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, so you're working on some fun collabs. Any other big things that we need to know about?
Not really. I'm just trying to relax at the moment, just trying to take a break because if season 2 happens, it's just gonna be a crazy time again. And it's exhausting filming. You know, I give so much credit to all these, reality stars like Paris Hilton and Kardashian, so much respect for them in terms of what they do because you're literally putting your lives out there and there's so much work behind it that no one really sees. So
Yeah, they think you just, show up and you just live your life and it's easy. Was there anything that surprised you when you watched back the series? Was there one thing that stuck out that surprised you?
Surprised me, I would say. Ooh, I didn't know about Gabe's and Christine's situation at all till the show aired.
Wow.
So that to me, I texted Gabe. I was like, I just want to say I'm there for you as a friend. I texted Christine like I'm there for you as well, and I didn't know that you guys were going through this, and I think this kind of brought us closer as friends as well.
Mhm.
But that's something that I didn't know till it aired. So
And
yeah,
for those that are listening, Gabe and Christine are a married couple who had real difficulty having children.
fertility issues. Yeah.
And so one of the big storylines is, he wants a second child and she's not sure and then she doesn't and so forth. And then you bring the Asian culture and you really get to see that side of it, how the parents of both of them, influence the whole situation, which I think is so great about this series is that it shines the light, like you said, on the culture and why we are the way we are or perceived the way we are sometimes. But Kane, it's been so awesome. You got to show me your shoes though before you leave. Can
Okay,
you show
I'll
them?
show you
I mean,
my
how many
shoes.
pairs do you got?
I haven't counted them to be honest with you. Hold on, let me show you. I haven't counted
Okay.
them.
Oh my
I
God.
don't know, can you see them?
That is so.
I have more in the boxes that I have not taken out, so I have many more. And I actually have more in Singapore as well. So
And you have a panda. Oh, we love
yeah, I have a
pandas.
panda. I love pandas. Yeah, I
We,
love
we have a
pandas.
panda here at the National Zoo, and we've got a new baby
no.
too, Chow
No
Chi
way.
Chi Ji. And yeah, so you need to come to DC and visit us. I'll take you to the zoo.
Can you take me to shopping instead?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we're, we have stuff, we have no Rodeo Drive here and it's
Yeah.
DC, okay?
I'm sure you have a Saks Fifth Avenue or.
We do. We got
Okay,
Saks.
great.
I got to show you because I love shoes too.
Yeah.
And my friends always make fun of them. So I wanted
Yeah.
to get your response to some of my favorite shoes that my friends hate.
Please show me. Yes. Love. This is love. This is at leisure. I love it. Love a
Yes,
print.
it's a little Stella.
print.
Okay.
These are so cute for Hawaii.
Yes. Okay.
These are so cute for Hawaii. That's so cute. That's a good brunch shoe. Like a good brunch with like
Yeah,
girlfriend.
I'm 2 for 2.
Yeah. These are I'm not my type. But you have to.
Okay, fine. Get rid of that one. Okay, great.
So,
And then finally,
I love these. I mean, come on, a black outfit with this dress and like a nice bag, clutch, you're done. Yeah.
now, where do you think these are from?
Oh my gosh, don't ask me that question. Turn, can you do a spin?
Oh, you saw it.
I don't know.
Fashion Nova,
Oh my god, that's amazing.
like
I'm actually-
1999.
I'm actually working with one of my friends who used to be the director for the men's for Fashion Nova to do kind of a line for myself. Not Fashion Nova, but something
Yeah.
for my own. So
Oh, I
yeah,
love them.
love
The fast
Fashion Nova.
fashion, Yeah.
Exactly, that's the money, right?
I mean, they hurt like hell when I wear them, but whatever. They look good in the
It's
picture.
worth it.
Well, Kane, you are amazing, and I love chatting with you. And hopefully, this won't be the last time. Hopefully, we can catch up, especially once season 2 kicks off. And I just wish you the most luck in everything that you do. And thank you again for taking time to chit chat with us. You're so fun.
Angie, just want to say thank you as well. It's because of people like you who promote the show, and that's why we have such success. So I want to thank you as well for highlighting the importance of Asian representation in TV and in society today. So the pleasure's mine as well. Thank you.
Isn't he great? I cannot wait to see what he gets into in the second season. I really do hope that we get to see him making some deals, calling some shots, showing really all that he is capable of doing. I know that recently he put on the gram that he's doing a little collab with Fenty, our girl Riri, who, by the way, needs to drop some music like soon. I hope that out of this, you're able to just find out, like I did, just how important, especially during times like this, that having a richness inside is important. I think so many of us try to substitute with other things and try to self-medicate, even with retail therapy. It's like buy some new lip gloss or go buy a new dress or a pair of shoes to feel better. We all know that that really is like such a band-aid to bigger problems. So I'm not saying you should do a little shopping every now and then, okay? But you get my point. So it doesn't have to be something religious. It just has to be something that you can always come back to. Thank you for joining us again this week. Look forward to seeing you next. Have a good one, and as always, be safe. You watched or listened to the very end. Thanks so much. Don't worry, you can watch more by subscribing to the Oh My Goff Show on YouTube, Facebook Watch, Twitch, or Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your favorite shows.